So, if you've watched my channel before, you know my name is Joe. I am 60 years old and I've worked at the same place for 42 years. I walked into this facility, which currently is 275,000 square feet. Originally, it was 600,000 square feet. There's 10 buildings. We're only 5 now. And this place has been my history, but also, an interesting place. It was built by Geigy Chemicals, a Swiss company, and it opened up in 1960, 5 years before I was even born. And they merged and they sold it to another developer. So when I got here in 1983, I had just gotten out of high school the week before, and I started working here in security as a guard, and then an ECC operator, emergency control center operator, while I was in college. So I did several jobs here while I was in college, and I did not succeed at college as a way I'll put it. I dropped out. And luckily a friend of mine who I knew here was in the engineering department, and he says, "We're hiring apprentices. Why don't you come up and see?" And I did. And in February of '88, I started with the engineering department. The site was sold several times. Every time was an interesting story in itself. One of the companies that owned us for several years that I dealt with, I did not work directly for, was Purdue Pharma. Everybody knows the OxyContin story. I saw it from a different perspective. I saw it from people here celebrating them making big money and all that money rolling in. It was a different view here. Not for me. I was just an observer. But in the year 2000, I became the chief engineer here after being shop steward, assistant chief, and an engineer for over a decade. And I'm still chief here. Now, this is where the story gets a little gray from my perspective. If you look around here, all this is empty. When I first started working here, we had almost 2,000 people here. And over the years, that number went up and down to a low of like 300 people with the last occupancy. And then COVID hit, and everybody worked from home for 2 years. And then when people started coming back to work, nobody came back here. And that's part of the problem. Remote work killed sites like this. It's killing the commercial real estate industry. This is not a happy video. This is not a diecast video. It's not a cat video. This is just part of my story. I actually emailed the nice young lady from the local cable news and said, "Hey, do you want to do a story on me? I've been here 42 years and I've done other things, and I don't think it'll ever be on TV, so I figured I'd give part of my story here. I can retire in about a year and a half, and I'm hoping to just ride out the wave here. I hear from other people in the industry that people are coming back to work and leases are being signed, and that's a good thing. But overall, I'm sorry to say it, I'm not trying to be political or controversial. COVID killed us here. All right.